Keep Right with Ralph K. Ginorio. Plutocratic Communism. Ironically, today's most ardent communists, by any other name, are among our most wealthy elites. In the United States and throughout the West, these plutocrats drive programs that are meant to erase the vibrant colorblind meritocracy, which is freedom. In place of our birthright of liberty, they promise a well-managed utopia. What our ancestors bequeathed to us in the United States and in the broader Western world was a society where we would each be judged by the quality of our words and actions. In 2,000 years, this best of all possible worlds developed because it is fundamentally fair. It is at the heart of what is best in Western civilization. Today's plutocratic communists instead fixate upon unchosen birth characteristics, such as one's race or sex, and as they will never tire of proclaiming one's sexual orientation. As in medieval times, in their utopia, we would each be born into our role rather than choosing it. This seems incomprehensible. Why would our most monetarily successful people be so hostile to the very freedoms that made their fortunes possible? Tragically, the critical mass of today's wealth was not produced by people who are still alive. Instead of being self-made and independent creative go-getters, most contemporary plutocrats have inherited their largesse. These lesser scions are often racked by resentment or guilt over their ancestors' great achievements. Even current self-made men like Bill Gates, Mark Zuckerberg, and Jeff Bezos have become creatures of the corporate culture that their success created. Because of their quick achievements in the tech industry, today's rags to riches success stories never had to shepherd a business through decades of slow growth. Unlike America's so-called robber barons of 100 to 150 years ago, contemporary tech moguls never had to develop the indefatigable discipline that made the fortunes of Andrew Carnegie, John D. Rockefeller, and Henry Ford. With all of their flaws, those entrepreneurs were genuine practitioners of economic freedom. Today, there is no such clarity of vision among our business leaders. Instead of the common sense of practical lived experiences, our plutocrats rely upon the theoretical expertise of a class of expert specialists. Contemporary university training for such specialists involves each promising young person being subjected to a true harrowing. Ambitious individuals quickly learn to bridle their tongues and shackle their thoughts to conform themselves to the intellectual straitjacket of academic political correctness. Academe is the spawning ground of today's woke corporate culture. It makes absolute sense that the most adaptable and successful products of this indoctrination would form a vanguard for a new communist revolution. These apparatchiks have been entrusted with vast power over corporate entities that they themselves could never have built. It is an unfortunate rule of business that creative innovations or innovators are almost always supplanted by masters of business administration whenever their enterprise exceeds a certain size. When businesses are no longer small, the money men take over from the idea men. It is these very money men, the class of professional administrators, who hunger the most to steal away our spontaneity, our bold and untrammeled freedom of choice. The old model of the free market versus communism no longer applies. Communists, by any other name, run our most prominent corporations. Genuine entrepreneurs serve us all with their innovations, us all being every customer. Today's plutocrat communists serve their cultic ideology of diversity, equity, and inclusion at the expense of customers and of our wider society. Authentic business leaders serve their stockholders by improving the value of their businesses. Today's college indoctrinated managers serve environmental, social, and governance imperatives as dictated by an international class of financiers such as Klaus Schwab and George Soros and the World Economic Forum. To the extent that self-interest motivates these zealots, it is a fear of real creativity and unpredictable freedom. They preside over institutions that have become too large to innovate and too unwieldy to adapt themselves to a dynamic, unfettered marketplace. By aligning themselves with political hacks and nomenclatura, they acquire the help of friendly government regulators who will stifle that spark of effervescent imagination which is at the heart of all real creativity. Mediocrity becomes shielded from true competition so long as its avatars adhere to the party line. As ever, free citizens with middle-class values are left to carry the burden of preserving freedom